Hi everyone, it's Terry here sharing another process video for Peartree Cutfiles. This time I'm using this Us cut file. I've cut it out from white cardstock and I'm going to use this patterned paper from Kaisercraft. It's an old collection that I've got a few papers left from. So I'm just adding some white gesso to the background under where my cut file's going to go so that I can do some mixed media on it. I'll pop that to one side to dry, and then I'm going to cut out a shape to backfill the florals, but I'm going to just cut it from white cardstock for now, and then I'm going to add some mixed media to that as well. And then I'm going to back the letters with a patterned paper. So I'm cutting this out in one whole piece to make it easier to paint and also easier just to stick down flush to the back. So I'm just going to add some more white gesso to this to make it easier to paint with my Shimmerz paints. It stops them seeping into the cardstock in the background. So my background is now dry, so I'm just going to start adding to that. So I've got some acrylic paint in pink. It's Carnation by Dina Wakeley. And I'm going to mix that with this leftover gesso that I've got with a palette knife, and then I'm just going to pull it through this floral pattern stencil from Vicky Booting just to give a bit more interest in the background. So now I can paint my florals, so I'm just going to work out where the centres of the flowers are, and then I can kind of go from there. I don't want it to be exact, I want it to be a bit like painterly. So I've used Bumblebee for the centres, and then this is Celery that I'm using to paint the leaves. I'm not being very precise, I'm just going roughly where I think the leaves are. Like I said, the detail is in the cut file, so you just kind of want to add some colour blocks behind. I am roughly working out where they should be by using the cut file, just holding it over and looking. So now I've got two different colours of pink. I think it's Pinko de Mayo and Bubblegum. So I'm just adding one colour all over, and then I use the darker of the two, which I think is the Bubblegum, to add a bit of detail and a bit of shading to the flowers. So I'm just getting off the excess with the kitchen roll, and then that also means it's a bit drier to be able to add the kind of shading. So I'm just kind of adding some strokes from kind of the centre of the flowers, and then doing some kind of shadows on the petals. There's a few smaller flowers that I've chosen to colour completely with that darker pink, so you can see now on the background the difference. So back to the background, and I'm going to add some watercolour now in these pearlescent. So I'm literally just using a big brush with water and dabbing it all on, so you get kind of a bit of a mottled effect. I'm using a couple of different colours of pink and some kind of like creamy colours. So once I've splodged on the background, I'm also doing some smaller splatters, and then again pulling off the excess with the kitchen roll and then drying with my heat tool. Once it's almost dry, I'm just adding some gold. It's difficult to see the background colouring on the video. I did want it to be quite subtle. So now the florals are dry, so I can backfill. It's a bit of a bitty video because I've shown you the the process kind of in the order that I did it, so there's lots of to-ing and fro-ing between the cut file and the background, and that's how I work when I'm using mixed media, and sometimes I'll work between different layouts as well. So I'm just backfilling the Us with this patterned paper. It's kind of got a bit of a sewing theme to it, so it's beautiful tape measures on the opposite side that will show through. So I'm just cutting out the letters after I've drawn around them, and then I'll just stick them on with some wet glue. So that's my letters backfilled, and you can see all the kind of rules and that at the back. So I'm going to use this small black and white photo of me and my partner, and I have just cut down the side of where the leaf is so that I can tuck it in. So I've decided my background is a bit subtle, so I want to add a bit of stamping. So I've got a light pink archival ink pad and my trusty script stamp. So I've just stamped all over the painted area. And you can just about see it on the video, but like I said, it's quite subtle, and that's how I want it to be. I want the cut file to be the star of the show, so to speak. So I'm just popping some foam pads on there so that it'll pop up off that background. So there we have it, stuck down, and I've just added my photo in with some patterned paper, foam pads underneath even. This is the manufacturing strip from that ruled paper, so I'm just going to cut out the "Remember This" moment and use that as a subtitle. But first I've pulled out these gold kind of leaves, and I'm going to tuck them in under the cut file, so to kind of match with the gold splattering that I used on the background. So because it's a picture of me and my partner, I'm using the "You and Me" as well, and I want to pop this heart in. So I'm just deciding where I want to put that, and I'm going to cut it up into individual words so that I can have it not in a complete strip. I want it to be in 3 different parts, kind of flowing downwards over the cut file. So I'm just going to add some journaling in that small area just under the cut file. Nothing profound, just that we've spent a lot more time together this last year, as I'm sure a lot of couples have. I'm just adding a few Nouveau drops in, because I think I'm nearly done at this point, but you'll see shortly that I start pulling out stickers, trying to find other things to add to the layout, and really I should have waited either for the Nouveau drops to dry or to have done them later on, but it is what it is. So I've added that butterfly at the top of my photo where there was kind of like a wasted space. I'm just adding in some pink and black like florals in and around areas that looked like they needed a little bit extra. And they're popped up on foam pads as well. So I'm using a really old collection here. This is a Kaisercraft one that I bought from a local craft shop many years ago, and then I'm added in some new things from the Crate Paper Marigold collection. So this is my finished layout. Thank you for joining me on YouTube today, and I'll pop links in the comments below.